Bum da bum da bum da bum ba dum. It's Doctor Who series 15, episode 7, Wish World. Oh man, Magic Baby. That's it. Magic Baby. That is the Deus Ex Machina of the whole thing. The Magic Baby. Magic Baby. There will be spoilers, but how can you spoil a rainbow glitter encrusted turd? I don't think you can. Maybe roll it in more glitter? I don't know. But this is all that's wrong with Russell T Davies and his writing this episode. All that's wrong. And the visceral reaction that I had to this story, it's again, I don't actually care now. I'm past caring about the show. I don't care anymore because I don't. For next week's episode, I couldn't. If I never saw it, it's like The Last Jedi to me, or whatever it is. Last of the Skywalkers, Rise of the Skywalkers. Never watched it. Never seen. After The Last Jedi, never watched. Couldn't be bothered with it. It's like, because I knew what they needed to do, and I know what's going to happen next week. I know what's going to happen because it's so simplistic. Oh fuck. So yeah, there will be spoilers, and I really can't be bothered to do this review because it is so below me. It's beneath me to talk about such moronic story. It's not even storytelling. It opens in Bavaria in 1865, where the Rani turns up on horseback to get a baby. It's the seventh son of a seventh son of a seventh son of a seventh son. It's a magic baby because in folklore, seventh son of a seventh son, you know, magic properties. But hey, why not? Why not we go seventh son of a seventh son of a seventh son of a seventh son? Why don't we multiply it? Because hey, more magic. The father is called Herr Zufel. I thought originally she said Zoophile, and I thought, oh, that's a bit ripe. That's a bit right. But then my O-level German kicked in. I thought, Zufall. I know that word. I know that word. No. He didn't. No. He wouldn't. No. And I looked it up just to confirm my suspicions. Mr. Coincidence. That was the name of the father. Mr. Coincidence. Okay. Well, I guess it's better than Mr. Animal Lover, I suppose, but not by much. She steals the baby. The baby gives her magic powers, and she can turn people into petals, into ducks, into owls, and then rides off. Magic Baby. He's the god of wishes. Of course he is. And that's the problem. It's not sci-fi anymore. It's magical thinking show, and again, that's kind of in line with the various ideologies that that Russell T Davies is pushing. Those people that believe they can be something they are not. And so this really goes in. I blame Harry Potter for all of this. I really do. I blame Harry Potter for all of this. So go and watch The Lie of the Land from Peter Capaldi's last season, written by Toby Whithouse. Toby Whithouse has gone on to do Bergerac, the reboot of Bergerac. I've watched it. Yeah, it's not perfect, but I enjoyed it, and it got more viewers than Doctor Who did. It's got more viewers over the series season, per average than Doctor Who, because and it's on one of the UK Play channels, Buried. I'm just telling you that. Just saying, Toby Whithouse should have been the showrunner of Doctor Who. He should have had a crack at it. But hey, he got Bergerac, so I'm winning. I'm winning there. But anyway, go and watch The Lie of the Land, in which the Doctor and Bill find themselves in a world where the monks have taken over, and they've created an alternate history, and there are people, and if you don't believe the history and you think of the truth, then they come around and the memory police come around and arrest you. Well, all that has been reused verbatim by Russell T Davies in this, but this time it's doubt. It's the doubt police. Oh, if you doubt, don't think. Do not think about anything in this story. Don't think, because if you think about it, it all falls apart like a cheap suit. Do not think. The Doctor and Belinda wake up in a 50s styled reality, stolen from WandaVision. It was like Russell said, do you know what? You know what Disney likes? They like WandaVision, don't they? Well, it's all. So, and you think, oh, why is all this good? First of all, I thought it was going to be interesting. I thought we might actually have an interesting, conceit going on it with them being in this kind of almost like sitcom style house relationship. I thought, oh, maybe this could be interesting. But then it soon became rather daft because, the Doctor's in a bowler hat and a pinstripe suit with an umbrella because, that's fine. But not everyone. Mel's not dressed like that, Not all the people are dressed like it. And cups have the habit of falling through tables. Again, and the fear, that felt a bit like that Twilight Zone episode where the boy has the powers and can turn people into different things. It kind of reminded me of that. But it's nowhere near as good as that, obviously, because this is Doctor Who. And it turns out that Conrad, because he's on TV, a bit like the Doctor is in The Lie of the Land, telling everyone everything's all right. Go and watch it. It's the same story beats. It's shockingly similar, and I don't know if it's been done deliberately, if they're deliberately recycling the ideas, or if it's accidental. I don't know. But Conrad, our villain from a few episodes back from Lucky Day, is now... God, this is so dumb. I can't even bring myself to talk about it, how dumb it is. He's being used by the Ranis, to use the Wish Baby, the god of wishes, to create a wish world that he wants, because he wants to make the world better. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Because in this world, right, and the Doctor makes a casual remark about a man being handsome, and it's like, oh, you can't say that because there's no jobby jabbing in this world. There's no left footers in this world because Conrad doesn't like it. Never mentioned before, because Conrad he's like, oh, it's just so bad. Nuance, there ain't any nuance. All we knew about Conrad before was that he didn't like UNIT, but now in this episode he's a racist, he's a homophobe, transphobe, he's an ableist. He hates everyone and he wants everyone to live in a 50s coloured Britain. And if that was the case, the Doctor and Belinda wouldn't be there, would they? Because he doesn't like people of that, it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't like people of that hue. There's an absolutely abhorrent scene where Ruby, who seems to be the only one who can remember anything, because we need somebody who can remember, so we just write it in. We're not like in The Lie of the Land where Bill is actively trying to keep her memories together, thinking of her mother, trying to hold it all together, not let the alien signals get into her brain. Ruby just can kind of remember the Doctor, kind of, for reasons, because things have to happen. Well, she bumps into old Wheelie from UNIT. She's not in UNIT anymore because, disabled people can't be productive in society. Because remember, Conrad is ableist. He's a straight, white, evil man. Remember it. There's lots of nose punching in this episode. It is so on the nose. It's the Muhammad Ali of episodes. So many successful landings. It's ridiculous. But yeah, there's a bit where Ruby goes to this shanty town where there's all these disabled people and a tranny, because trannies are like disabled people, aren't they, really? And it is just the most ableist gibberish nonsense I've ever seen. It really is. It's appalling. It's absolutely appalling. And Wheelie says to her, well, you don't look disabled. And Ruby makes an offhand comment about, well, I could be taller. Look, my son's disabled. He don't look disabled. Well, he does if you study him, because he stims and he walks a bit, and he can't go downstairs properly. He has an invisible disability of the mind. He's on the spectrum, and not one of those fakers. Because there's a lot of them out there. Because it's ka-ching. He really is on the spectrum, but from seeing him again, he refuses to do. He said it was absolute rubbish. He said it was a mess. I didn't understand it, Dad. I said, you're not meant to. You're just meant to wallow in it, And so some disabilities aren't visible, so that's a bit of ableist writing there, and it shows that Wheelie is ableist in herself because she thinks only people that look disabled are disabled. God, the level of writing is so poor. It is so poor. I don't know what crystal meth Davis is taking. I don't know what GHB or what NOS he's on. What chemsex drugs he's imbibed of for writing this stuff. But boy, it ain't working. The drugs don't work. They just make you worse, as the wise man once sang. And the doctor, who is John Smith, because he's not a doctor, he's John Smith. Remember that. We've done that before, and there's an hilarious bit where Belinda just runs off and goes screaming into the forest for no reason whatsoever. But it's dramatic. It looks good. And Verity said, "Is that forest even real? Is that a real forest?" Because there's some, I don't know. It's probably just the drone footage being a bit off. And so they're taken to this big bony tower, and there are these big dinosaur skeletons that are stomping around that aren't skeletons, that aren't, and it's the Rani, and then they're kind of holding Conrad hostage because he goes, "Oh, I find it so hard to keep this up," because it's his imagination or it's his wishes that are kind of keeping everything going. But if anyone doubts, then the cups fall through the table for some reason, and they have big bins with cups in, and you go, why? This is so stupid. Right, so they want to create this wish world, but then it turns out that they also want the Doctor to doubt, because his doubt will break the wish world. And you go, okay, you can, you can't. We want it, but we don't want it. We want to create this version of Earth that doesn't exist. But then we want to crack it open so we can get to the underverse. The underverse. Not familiar with that. I'm going to call it the undiverse, where everyone there is walking around in their underwear. There we go. That'd be good. And we get a message from Rogue in a really badly videoed bit where they couldn't even afford to show him where he is. He's just in a red background. I'm in hell. Tables aren't meant to do that. And you imagine, I don't know, Rogue being taken by the Doctor over a table. That's how they're meant to be used, he's thinking. So, the Doctor's caught by the Rani. The Vindicator was of her design because it's used to amplify the wishes of the baby, because the baby's a god of wishes. Remember that. The baby is a god of wishes, and they use the Vindicator to make an energy grid around the Earth to amplify the baby's wishes, to create this wish world kind of on top of the Earth. Remember that. This isn't real Earth. This is a wish world. This is like a crust around the Earth. The real Earth is still going on. That's what I'm thinking. There is no danger to the Earth. Remember, wish baby. It's all a wish, baby. And they want the Doctor's doubt to crack a hole in this so they can... Wait for it. Now, remember, we joked about the punchline about who... whenever they was going to introduce a character, the punchline was, it was the Rani. Now, the second punchline was, it's Omega. Omega is a character that was last seen in Arc of Infinity, I think it was. He was in... What else was he in? He was with the Three Doctors, I think, as well. I think that's where he was introduced. And Omega is like, oh, this is where it contradicts itself. The lore starts to contradict itself. Omega is meant to be the first Time Lord who created the Time Lords, but we know that Tech Twin is the first person who kind of found the Time Lord, the timeless child who created the Time Lords. So I don't know how they're going to retcon that. Maybe Tech Twin turns out to be Omega, but they want to break into the Underverse where everyone's in their underwear so they can find Omega, because that's where Omega is. Now, I thought Omega got evaporated by Peter Davison back in the old days when the Doctor weren't afraid to use a gun. You know, the good old days when, you know, sometimes you've got to kill. Sometimes you've got to kill your enemies. You know, I like those days. I like when it's a bit tough. And then you sit there and you go, wait a minute. You're creating a wish world using a magic baby, amplified by a Vindicator thing that you've somehow smuggled onto the TARDIS and the Doctor's used because reasons. You think that the Doctor's come up with it, but the Rani wanted it done. So what? Don't think about it. Don't think about it. It doesn't make any sense. But it's going to amplify the baby's wish to create a wish world that can be broken open, so you can find Omega in the underworld, so that you can get to him and rebuild Gallifrey. Right. Okay. And then the Doctor's on a balcony that blows up because there are these kind of magic balls that she touches that go, they're explosive. She just primed them, but they look like testicles. And it blows up and he's falling to his doom. But he's not, because it's not real. It's a wish world, remember? None of it's real. The end. Curious thing, Belinda disappears though, which is interesting, because I think Belinda's a creation. I don't think she's real at all. I think even maybe Ruby's real. Not real, because the Rani lived next door to both of them. So again, I've got ideas, I've got theories, but I don't really care, because it's not good storytelling. None of it is, because we've entered the realm for a long time, since it came back, since Gatwa got his big hammer out and separated the TARDIS into two. Again, where's David Tennant in all of this? Don't you think he'd be looking out of his window at Donna's house going, oh, everything's gone a bit purple. Maybe I should take the TARDIS over to UNIT and find out what's going on. Come on, Rose 2. You know, oh, haven't you grown? Come on, Rose 2. You can come with me. All right, Doctor. But it doesn't happen, does it? It doesn't happen. And so here we are, with the wish world collapsing and the Doctor falling to his doom. Do I care what happens next? No. Why not? Because you have a wish baby, the giant Deus Ex Machina with which Russell T Davies is going to fix everything. Remember, don't make the baby laugh. Ah, oh, God damn it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a scene with Conrad, who realises he's been duped by the Rani, using the baby like some kind of weapon and wishing his way out, using it like a wish gun. I want to see that. That's the only way this is going to remedy itself. But you know, maybe Rogue is Omega. Maybe that's the big thing. You know, maybe Rogue is actually a Time Lord, and he's actually Omega. Who's gone rogue? Get it? Omega gone rogue. Yeah. But this is the problem when you bring magic into all of this. We've been watching some of the older episodes. Like I said, we watched The Unquiet Dead, so I like that one, and I showed Verity The Lie of the Land. And again, this is another episode that is very small. It only happens in the Rani's lair. It's very, very, everything's very small. There's no sense of movement in any of this. Whereas if you watch The Lie of the Land, you know, it starts with people being arrested for memory crimes. You go to Bill's house, you go to a tanker, where the Doctor's being held. There's a journey to it. Then the Doctor, goes back to his lair to talk to Missy, and then they go and take on the monks in the pyramid, and there's a sense of movement, of things happening. Nothing happens. Nothing really happens in this, right? And that's the problem. We have, and both episodes are 45 minutes long. Go and watch the live land, please. At the time, I thought it was not very good because of the cop-out, because it was a 3-parter, right? Introducing the monks and the mystery of the monks. And I thought that the end section, how they defeat the monks, was a bit of a cop-out. But rewatching it, I think it's quite Shakespearean in its execution compared to what we've been fed with the last 2 seasons. It's funny that when you look back and you go, God, this wasn't too bad. And also the acting was absolutely stellar compared to the acting we have now. The acting is really quite panto-dame. It's really quite pantomime. In parts, this felt a bit like Flash Gordon. He's gone. Look, I like camp. I like it when the Doctor camps out sometimes, but I think it's gone too camp. And I think again, you've kind of broken it too much again with that live land episode. You watch the Doctor work out the problem. That's why you want to watch the Doctor. He's the smartest man in space and time, and you like to see him figure out the puzzle. In this, the Doctor is a gibbering idiot who doesn't know what's going on, right, and only remembers who he is as he's plummeting to his apparent doom. It won't. He'll be fine. And again, Russell T Davies relies on this earth-shattering, it's the end of everything. Remember when we had the reality bomb with the Davros and the planets all lined up? Reality bomb? Well, now we've got the war on reality, the reality war. And it was terrible. And if you liked it, keep taking the meds. That's what I say. Keep taking the meds. This is not good storytelling. This certainly isn't science fiction. I don't think this is the direction the show should have taken with the whole magical thinking thing. It just feels off. It just feels wrong. And I'm believing that this goes right back to the Power of the Doctor. When I wouldn't be surprised if it ends with a giant reset with Jodie Whittaker coming out of her TARDIS again, like Bobby Ewing in the shower, and her standing on the cliff top, and we just do it all again. And it's been the Rani was responsible for the chambers, in that, and it implanted the bi-generation thing because it's her design. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the payoff. But hey, that's too clever. That's too smart. I'm overthinking it. I don't think Russell T Davies could even think on that level, because his storylines are very basic. And yeah, I just thought it was gibberish. It was absolute gibberish. And I'm sorry, for God, have I gone on far too long. It's because I love the show. I really do love the show. I've been watching this since I was very, very small. Like I said, one of my earliest memories is the Deadly Assassin episode with the Doctor getting trapped in the railway tracks. It gave me nightmares for weeks, that did. Because I really wanted the Doctor to live. And that's how long I've been involved in all of this. I'm not a mega fan. I've only got a few. He says, I've only got a few sonic screwdrivers. That ain't the entire collection. He says, reaching for more of them. Reaching for more. I only bought these so we could play with them with the kids and everything. He says, I've only got a few of them. I've only got a few. I'm not that big a fan. He said, I'm not that big a fan. It all started because the missus bought me this one years ago, and it kind of started from there. That was in the 2000s when it first came back, But I feel like the moment when Bertie Bassett turned up in the Sylvester McCoy era, where I just went, I can't do this anymore, and I feel like that. But we've only got one episode to go before the show possibly goes on hiatus. Now, I remember Moffat talking about there being a Christmas special script that he read, so that was written by Davies, and that he looked at the last page. So I don't think it's the end. There must be a Christmas special, surely, really. But the show is just, again, it's not about the story anymore. It's about scoring as many ideological points as possible. Moffat did the same thing with The Lie of the Land. He was talking about disinformation and fake news and the role propaganda has in changing people's minds. But it was done with subtlety. Compared to now. Even back then, people thought it was a little bit, woke, because that series was deemed as woke. I didn't have a problem with it back then. I thought it was, again, it's a necessary thing. It's a thing that was happening at the time, and Moffat was reflecting that. Whereas here, it's just personal ideology laid thick over and 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 over. And that's it. And that just completely breaks the narrative structure. You don't know how the Doctor fell into the trap. They could have had a cold open with the TARDIS, red, whoop, 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 cloister bell ringing, the TARDIS spinning round, him saying, grabbing the console and shouting Geronimo, and then titles play, then they wake up, and that would have been that would have been much better. But hey, mystery box style of storytelling, that really irritates me too. The mystery box storytelling technique only works if you're doing a murder mystery. It doesn't work anywhere else, because you end up moving bits of the narrative structure around and hiding it and putting it at the end when it should be at the beginning, and it just feels off. It's never feels right. It never feels successful, and I hate that in storytelling. But that episode, Wishworld, was one of the worst things I'd ever seen. It truly was. It made no sense whatsoever. And if they wanted, they have a magic baby with amplified wishes. Rani could have said, "Baby, bring me Omega," and he could have wished Omega in front of her. Or he could have wished her into the underverse or something, because it's all magic. You can do anything. And that's where it falls. If you've got this magical thinking element running through the show, then anything can happen, and there's no investment, there's no stakes, because they can wish their way out of it. It can all be reset with that big Deus Ex Machina button that Davis loves slapping with his tiny little writer cock every time. Bang, reset, bang, reset, bang, reset, bang, reset, and that's what we're going to see. And that's it. But if you liked it, I pity you. I really do pity you, because it was awful. Go and watch The Lie of the Land. Go and watch it. Just go and watch it. 1, the story's better. 2, it's more bloody filmic on a smaller budget. 3, the acting's superior light years. The dynamic between Bill and the Doctor, that was really good. And even Matt Lucas's Nardole was fun. It was a good comic relief. And Missy was really kind of malevolent. Gomez really, she good. They're good. They're good actors. None of them are any good in this. None of them. Even Anita Dobson, when she goes, "Here's your sandwich, sweetheart." It's bloody Angie from EastEnders. It's just, But anyway, sorry, I've whittled on enough. I've just, I didn't even want to talk about it, because I knew I'd just prattle on for too long, and and I feel a bit sad. I feel a bit sad about it, because I feel that thing I always compare it to being a football team. Well, I feel like my football team's right at the bottom of the league, and we're not even playing with the B team. Even the B team's not good enough anymore, and even the B team have sodded off, and we're kind of relegated. And I don't know if the Capaldi one's got any juice in it. Yes, it has. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Big reset button. We'll be pressing it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to be careful where you stick your sonic screwdriver. I'll get to it this week. That's it. Ta-ta.